playing Kelowna Dark Legacy, and we are in episode 5, Ill Tidings. Now, the trek back along the Golden Roadway is a long one. It was a long way out here. It was a better part of a day, and you spend that going back. As you re-enter the city of Aurora, going through its many bustling districts, the guards don't really hassle you at the gates. They really don't start questioning a lot of people until after nightfall. That's when they're more curious to who's trying to enter the city that late at night. But streets is how you remembered. See the vast, sparse life, the bustling streets, the vendors with cheap food trying to entice the gullible traveler into partaking their wares and gambling their constitution away. But you have your sights set on the Nymph's Rest. This predominantly large, approximately 300-foot tall tree that has been converted into a multi-purpose structure, not only to house people of the city, but to also freely feed them. It has, in essence, created its own ecosystem inside. Several businesses and opportunities lie within. One of which is the Fearless Landers, the group that you all have your own reasons for wanting to join. And they tasked you to go meet with Sati, the halfling priestess of the Temple of Neptania, recover a stolen relic, which you have. And now it's time to report your findings. So, now the Nymph's Rest is quite a complex place. To give an idea here, I have a base floor plan just kind of strung up. I have to hand draw this because there's nothing even remotely close that I can use or convert using any kind of pre-existing tiles or templates. So I'm going to share the floor plans here and kind of describe them out and mark certain areas with tokens, just to give the players and those watching an idea of where things kind of lie. Just trying to get this to show on here a little bit better. Okay. Zoom out a bit. All right. So, does anybody not see the giant hollowed out tree here?
I see much tree.
Oh, there is all
circle.
tree. Yes, it is a giant circle. I'm going to describe some of the things that you see in here and try to mark them down with tokens as we go. I'm just trying to pull up the tokens that we're going to be marking here. And where is the monster manual tokens? No. Monster manual, here we go. This has the nice numbered little tokens that we can kind of start using. So, I'll just call this, I guess, Area 1 here. And this is not going to be to scale for the markers. I'm just going to enlarge them here so people can kind of see the tokens. And this is going to be the lobby area. So, first of all, as you see the base of the tree, it's surrounded by a gated garden where the plant life, like the various trees and bushes, some of them have been forcefully grown or either through ingenious means using other like frames or even through magic directly to bend them to form little bits of like natural tables and benches and chairs. There's all sorts of flowers, very colorful flowers growing around the tree. There's a large white stone pathway leading from the outer gates of the tree, which are not closed or barred, but it's a metal archway covered with vines and flowers. The path leads from that gate directly to the main entrance of the tree, which is again just widely opened. Any of you not go into the Nymph's Rest?
Carrie will come with for now to report, but she's going to probably head out to do another report once she's done here.
Okay. So, as you're going through the streets, going to the Nymph's Rest, as you see it and you're approaching the Nymph's Rest itself, there is a very loud town crier shouting, "Hear ye, hear ye! Scyther forces still patrolling Holland borders! Local crime on the rise! Those looking to do their part against it, or are looking for good pay for honest work, seek Lord Commander Carval, Skykiller of the Azure Guard! Rumors from the far lands say new government formed in Sanctuary. Strict border enforcement now limiting trade routes. The Platinum Suns Festival of Lights to be held in the Sacred Promenade District." And then he kind of goes on just shouting the news that he's been told to kind of give out, and which is the same thing.
Do I recognize the name, the military person?
Make a history check with advantage. And given your background, it would be a lower DC as well.
16.
So, being a tried and true military man yourself, while you are not a part of the Azure Guard, you are familiar with them. They are part of the local guard here in Aurora. Now, the districts of Aurora kind of each have their own private guard, so to speak. It helps them work with the locals better to better protect. It's almost like their own guarded little districts, or if somebody were to commit a crime in one district, it would befall that district's law enforcement. So they're kind of the ones here for the promenade area and the docks. Now, Kraval, you haven't met him personally, but you've heard stories. He is a Goliath. He has proven himself not only through his endeavors through the local watch, but apparently this Goliath, if what is the stories is true, is he wears a dragon skull over his uniformed metal helmet. The story goes that he killed the dragon himself. He is a I don't want to say a mountain of a man, but he is a towering figure at almost 8 feet and 400 pounds of just muscle. He's earned the nickname the Unyielding Palisade because of it.
Do you recognize that name? I do. He's a fearsome man. Since
Uh,
the pay is good, why don't we go and speak with him after we are done in the Nymph's Rest?
I guess we could do that, yeah.
Hmm. But you don't get fancy magical artifacts stopping common thieves.
Well, you never know. I would enjoy the company.
Aries just standing there thinking, walking into a wall as she's not paying attention to him.
Just kind of hits the side of the Nymph's Rest.
I'll grab her shoulder right before she bangs her head.
Well, interestingly enough, and I'll tell you right where she almost banged her head here, the main lobby area, the entrance to the Nymph's Rest, opens up to a rather large area with a smooth wooden floor that's been carefully cut and polished from the very tree itself. The center of this room, there's a fountain, a little water fountain that it fills the room with a very relaxing sounds of trickling water. You can see just from the basin there various flowers, lily pads, even colorful little fish, and some sort of a rock garden just fill the basin. Now, the sides of this chamber are adorned with intricate carvings of humanoid beings in the wooden walls. As Ari almost ran into the wall with one of these, Mordecai, Ari, I want you both to make perception checks.
15.
7. That's a wall.
Well, that is a wall, but Mordecai realizes that this is a little more than a wall, as upon his closer inspection reveals that it's not a carving at all. It's some sort of living creature that appears to be part of the wall, as it just briefly opens its eyes and just kind of looks down at both of you as you're really close to it, and then just kind of closes its eyes, not moving any other part of its being.
The walls have eyes. I didn't think they literally had eyes.
Excuse us, Mordecai says to the wall, kind of dubiously, and his grip on Aries' shoulder tightens as he tries to steer her away.
And as you talk to it, the only response you get is just kind of a throaty growl, just a little,
Do I have any idea what this thing might be?
Ryan, the wall's growling at me.
You can make a knowledge arcana check.
Oh,
11.
Ooh, okay. You're not fully sure what this is. I mean, it's definitely not human. It's large like a Goliath, but it's not a Goliath. It appears to be kind of a combination of wood and stone, but you've never seen anything like this.
I don't know what that could be.
And as you try to figure out what that creature is, again, it's not really moving or making other noises or opening its eyes anymore. At the far end of this chamber is a massive wooden pillar. It appears to go all the way up to another floor. The areas around it on both sides is a pair of spiral staircases that lead up as well to the upper floor. To your right and left, along the far walls of the chamber, are small booths that have been carved into the very tree itself. In one of these booths, there's a elven woman who just kind of smiling, and it's a very warm, welcoming smile. And she's talking to some people who are just walking into the Nymph's Rest, and they seem to just kind of asking questions, and she's just happily answering some of the questions. And you see her just kind of pointing to people and talking in kind of low, hushed tones. Nothing that they're trying to be secret. It's just you're far enough away where you can't really make out what they're saying, but at the same time, they're not, they're not hiding the conversation. Just you're not close enough to understand it. Next to each of these booths, there's large archways. Each of the archways, you can kind of hear more idle chatter, and one of them you can feel kind of the warmth of a strong hearth's fire. A sign near the one that has the warmth coming from it, there's a sign that displays in common. It says, "The Tipsy Bee." And it has a picture of like a little cartoon bee drunkenly crawling out of a mug of ale. And on the wall across to it, next to the other archway, is another sign written in common saying, "The Trading Post."
Maybe we can unload these little gems at the trading post.
Possibly.
Okay.
Mordecai starts heading towards the trading post.
Okay, does anybody join Mordecai towards the trading post, or do they go somewhere else?
Either will follow.
Aries following.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with them.
All right, so going into the trading post here. Stepping through the archway, you see a small common room filled with round tables and walls lined with benches. There's a small booth, again carved into the wall of the tree itself, with what looks to be a fairly large job board hanging next to it. Inside the booth, you see a chipper-looking halfling boy. He appears to be taking letters and payment from various patrons and returning parcels out to others. Behind him is a wall of smaller boxes with various numbers written upon them. Along the far back wall of the room is a staircase that leads up to what appears to be a second floor. And across the way from that booth is another archway that seems to open up to a small shop. There's a little sign right next to it saying, "Barter Booth."
I do need a haircut.
I don't think it's barter, not
What you think? You think my hair is the right length?
I like your hair.
Sure, I guess.
It's not very often I see hair so bright and pink.
It's not pink. Wait. Hmm.
Is it not? It looks pink to me.
What's the color when you take red but make it lighter again? It's green, right?
That's
Light
pink.
red.
It is pink.
No, I think it is light red.
Sure.
Eyes away. I like your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Perhaps this is the bartering booth we are looking for. Tom loads his stones and he pulls out his 2 gems.
Maybe.
All right. So Mordecai, do you go into the barter booth?
I do.
Okay. So as you enter, the shop itself seems to be fitted with a lot of the basic needs that an adventuring life would need, or that of a simple worker, be it somebody who mines, or maybe a lumberjack, or even a farmer. Very basic equipment. If from what you can tell here, and you can see through some of the signs here, they have a kind of a trade system set up here. So you can pay in coin for any of the goods here, as you would expect from any shop, but they seem to have a bartering system here where you can trade in equipment of equal value to receive new equipment or loaner equipment for one's needs.
Well, Mordecai will approach the man at the counter, or the woman, whatever. Greetings. I'm looking to perhaps sell something that I've come across.
And the gentleman that's behind there, it's a human, kind of in his like mid-30s. He's got long hair, but it's kind of thinning out. A little portly, has some like glasses on him that are kind of cracked a little bit, and he just kind of leans over to you. He's got some gems. Let's take a look at him here, and he pulls out like a little jeweler's eyeglass that he just kind of whips out, telescopes out a little bit, and he puts it on one of his eyes. And do you hand him the gems?
I do, yeah.
All right, so you have the Jasper and the Moonstone gems. Well, this Jasper, this is a good quality stone here. It's not seeing many imperfections on it, but the Moonstone that you have here, that's, and he kind of points out some of the like the cracks on it, some of the chips and things. This is going to take away some of the value of the stone. If somebody wanted to use this for any kind of enchantment purposes or decorations, they would have to clean up the stone, reducing its size, its value. This hurts the overall value of the stone, you see. But are you willing to part with both of them, just one?
Both of them. What do you think they are worth?
Well, your Jasper there, that one you could get about 50 gold for, but the Moonstone, that one's going to be about 10.
Hmm. That is unfortunate. I was led to believe that the moonstone was worth a little more. Maybe 10 gold's worth more.
Well, normally they would be, but again, your stone here is damaged. And again, he's showing you the imperfection. It's not like he's lying that it's like if you compare it to the Jasper's almost completely flawless. But the Moonstone, there are visible cracks and chips into the stone itself. It was not handled with care, either by the orc that had it previously or wherever he took that from.
Perhaps 5 gold more?
Make a persuasion check.
Net 20. 24.
Yeah, that's all right. I can do 5 more for that. Did you want to sell them both? Did you want to trade them in for equipment of equal value?
I believe a potion of healing is worth within my price range with these 2 gems. May I have the gold that is left over?
All right, that sounds fair. And he kind of rummages through the back, and he does take out some bottles there and place them on the counter. Now they're the basic potions of healing. They're not any of the graders or superiors, anything like that. He places them on the
that's
counter.
right.
And he starts counting out your change essentially for the 2 gems. Place them on the counter, just counting in front of you. And there's people around you who are just kind of like they're wide eyed, like they've never seen that much gold before. And a lot of these are kind of they're not like they're gonna rob you or anything, but they're just like, oh my god, this guy is rich. And that is a lot of money. That's more money than most people would see like in a year. What's going on the counter here for you for these gems?
Awesome. So I get a potion and how much gold?
So, with the standard potions, give me a second here. This is where all the fun begins. Actually, no, that's in a moment where all the fun begins. Wish I had my. I used to have a full item chart that had like all the magical items and everything, like all nice and priced out. And I can't find that quick sheet for the life of me. Come on, Beyond. Where are you? Do apologize. Almost where I need to be. Beyond's a great resource, but sometimes searching things are not so great. So this should be. No, that's pulling up English Kid. Where the hell? Where was it? Could have sworn it was under the adventurer's gear. Does anybody know what section they hid the potion at?
It's probably in magical items.
Well, that's
No.
no. There's one in the PHB. That's the one I'm looking for.
Aren't those like 50 gold?
Something like that. I just need to verify, and the search feature on Beyond is just telling me, nope, we can't find that. So I have
A
to pull up the
common
book.
potion of healing is a magic item, and it's in the common category, so I think it's 50.
For right now, we're just going to say it's 50. I know it's in the PHB in the equipment section somewhere. They did put that out there in that book. but the Beyond search is not working, so I cannot verify this, and I do not have my physical books in front of me. They're in another room on a bookshelf.
I can grab my PHP.
Just
go on.
We'll
to
retcon the price as needed with that. We're not going to waste any more time on this. So right now we'll just say it's 50. You get 10, and we'll go over the price in a bit. So
15, you mean?
15, yes, because you got the extra 5 from with that.
Mordecai will bow and thank you, and step back in case anyone else wants to go up and do their thing.
He just kind of looks at the rest of you. Can I help any of you find anything? You need some tools, any equipment, traveling clothes. I mean, it's getting cold out there.
For now, I do not think I need anything. I was just following him.
Okay. Well, you saw the man praise the gems, and he gave him a healing potion and money back for the gems.
Ari is going to go up and take out one of her gems.
Okay.
I found it. It is 50 gold.
It is 50. What section was that hiding under?
I clicked the D&D player's handbook and
Right.
then went under adventuring gear, and it's alphabetically buried near the end.
See, I didn't see that. And I kept seeing healers kits and all that stuff, but I didn't see any of that potion.
No, you gotta look down below.
All right.
It's
Well,
under
it's
the
50.
standard.
Then we did fine with that. So you're gonna give him one of the citrine gems that you have found.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the one that you hand him there, this is, and he just kind of looks at it and goes, this is not a bad quality gem. Minor little scratches on it, but nothing that can't be fixed with a careful hand. For the most part, most of the gem's value is retained here. So this gem, kind of hands it back to you with that. This one would be worth about 45 gold.
Ari just kind of smiles and goes, "Oh, come on, you wouldn't try to scam a fellow merchant, would you?"
And he just you see his face just go from happy to kind of stern. I have never, nor will I ever, take advantage of any of my customers. Most of my patrons can barely afford the clothes on their backs. I would neither harm any of them nor any of my other clientele who are doing considerably better than they are.
Ari just smiles and nods and goes, "Okay, 40 works for me then."
And he pulls out the coins and he gives you 45. I don't cheat my customers. And he just slides the money to you. Just like everybody else, he kind of greets with a smile. You can see it kind of bugs him that, Ari would kind of insinuate that he's swindling her.
You said the wrong thing.
So this is what happens when you make like a happy merchant for your players, Like a lot of people make like asshole merchants. You give them a nice merchant and they accuse them of being Yeah.
I just remembered that I have a court, so after Ares' done, Aether's gonna go and sell his to him.
Well, you should have a onyx and the
I
Star
see
Rose
that.
quartz. So yeah, so you have 2 gems.
Yeah.
Everyone but Ryan should have gems.
This is correct.
Alright, well, I'm gonna
Ares-
sell my gems.
Aries going to push 20 back and ask for smith tools.
All right, he takes the money and gives her a set of smithing tools. Let's see. Just checking. Where's that? Okay. Yeah, he gives you the smithing tools, and do you even bother with your other gem, or?
No, she's holding on to it for a reason.
Okay. So, the onyx gem, let's take a look at that. That one, he looks at it, again, pulling the jeweler's eyeglass and just kind of studies it, just squinting. This is a fair bit of onyx you have here. This very nice gem. With its condition here, and again, it's not flawless. It does have some minor imperfections, but most of its quality is still intact. I'd set this up at about 48 gold.
He's going to nod.
And for the quartz, and he at first when you start pulling out the quartz, he gets kind of excited, and then when you put it on the table, the face just kind of goes down as you're like, why? Why? Then you start to see under the light here, like the imperfections on it, the chips. Not as bad as Mordecai's gem, but it's pretty close to that. Whew. I wish this was a better quality quartz. These are hard to come by. Sadly, it's seen better days. It's taken a lot of abuse. A lot of work's going to need to restore even some functionality to this for a jeweler or any of the other arcane purposes. I can get you about 14 gold for it.
He's going to nod.
All right,
Sounds good to me.
All right, so do you want to just cash these in, or do you want to exchange these for other credit for other equipment?
For now, I'll just cash these in.
All right. He starts counting out a lot of gold here for 62 pieces of gold. And again, like when Mordecai had his counted out, it shocked people. When Ari had hers put out, it shocked people. When you throw it out, people are just like, their jaws are just dropping, like, oh my god, this guy must be like a nobleman or something. He is just filthy rich.
And where do I put my gold?
So at the bottom, they'll have like treasure. You can put in like, so I can put like GP here and just type in like 62.
All right.
I just got to get rid of your gems here. All right, so you are doing quite well in the money department there, Aetherius. And Ari just has one citrine. And Mordecai's, I think, is already cleared up. So, all right. Does anybody want to do any other bits of shopping here?
Remind me, did Ryan use that potion, right? From before?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. I don't have anything else to do. Except for report in.
Okay. Well, does anybody else want to do any shopping here since Mordecai's done? Therius has exchanged his gems. Ares bought a potion. Actually, Mordecai's bought a potion. Ares bought the smithing tools.
No, Ari needs somewhere to work, but for now we should go report.
Okay. So as you're leaving the barter booth, this young boy just comes running over here to the trading post, and he's got like a little satchel with him. And Ari, I want you to make a dexterity saving throw.
That is a
Boom!
fail.
You are knocked
Well-
on your ass, as well as this poor boy, as his satchel just kind of goes flying a bit, and all these little letters and scrolls just kind of roll about on the floor, and he kind of shakes his like, "Oh, miss, I'm terribly sorry." And then he starts like hurrying, trying to grab all the letters and throw them back in the satchel. Then he kind of looks at you for a moment, and
Ari cries out in surprise and starts cleaning up letters.
and as you're cleaning up the letters, make a perception check. And the young lad is going to ask you, Miss, what is your name?
Not one. What's that? I don't see anything here. I see letters.
What's your name, miss?
Ari.
Your full name.
It's Erica Tolson. And she goes back cleaning up letters.
No, you don't. That one, and he kind of points to one that you're like trying to shove it back. That's actually for you, miss. You're on my route. I couldn't find you. And he just kind of takes out this little ledger, and you see your name on it, the Erica Tolson. And he's like, could you just initial here that you received the letter?
Sure. Who's it from?
I
And she's initial.
don't know, miss. I'm just told to deliver these to people. I've given it a description and their names.
She initials and nods.
And he just like, thank you, and he kind of scurries up and goes up by the counter where the other gentleman's at, and he starts handing in certain parcels and starts picking up other parcels, and then he just kind of tips his hat to some of the other patrons there and runs back out. And you have in your hand this nice letter that has been sealed with wax with your family's crest.
Ari sighs for a bit.
What did you get?
It's a letter. You see how it's this envelope? Inside of it is a piece of paper with writing.
Were you expecting a letter?
I'm always expecting. Let's see who it's from. Dude.
Is she actually making that noise, like daintily opening it up?
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm breaking the seal and just slowly pulling the paper back, and there's a bit of parchment in there that's of high quality parchment. As you slide it out, you unfold it, and the letter. Do you want to read the letter out here? You want me to read the letter?
Ari won't be reading it out loud.
Okay, let me do this then.
Just because if it's coming from family, it could be company business.
That is fair.
And after the last 15 times, she's finally learned her lesson.
I don't believe that.
I don't either.
Let's see. So I got to make a note here to privatize it since we don't want to make that public. And do you see the letter note?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll let you look at that.
Ari gets to the second sentence before immediately bursting out into tears. Like, just complete waterworks.
Mordecai silently puts his hands on Ari's shoulders and starts steering her back towards the bar area. He'll buy her a drink.
She just shakes her head. We need to go report in. We report in now.
Are you okay? Is it bad news?
Mm-hmm. I can't wait. We need to go report it.
We can wait a few minutes.
A few minutes won't fix this. Come on. It's best to keep busy and when you're sad.
I understand. Sure, let us go.
All right. So, you know that the Fearless Landers offices are on some of the upper floors of the Nymph's Rest. It's not on the first floor, even the second floor. So, do you go up the stairs on this side? Or do you go by the central pillar? Do you continue exploring the first floor?
Mordecai would be heading where we know they are.
Okay. So, going to the nearest staircase, let's see. I'll describe some things on the way there. If you want to stop and investigate, just let me know. But just so you can kind of get a mental picture of what you're seeing here. Let's see. Where is the upper floor two? Here we go. So as you go up the stairs, there is it opens up to a larger room that's basically two larger shops just kind of dominate this chamber. One appears to be like a blacksmith, where it looks like he's busy repairing items or taking orders to kind of create, special orders. Just basically buying and selling crafted bits of armor and things that require a blacksmith's touch. The other shop seems to showcase various high-quality wares that are for sale. The gentlemen that appear to be running these shops appear to be a pair of dwarven brothers. That one of them's busy working the forge and the other's working the shop counter, so to speak. They both have long, grown beards that are decorated with like golden rings. Their heads are not really bald, but the hair is cut short, just kind of high and tight. They are wearing kind of little aprons. The one obviously at the counter is much cleaner than the one that's in the blacksmith forges. They do have little help, assisting some of the duties, be it working some of the counters with them or some of the forge. However, towards the narrow end of this chamber of the shop, close towards the center of the tree, there's a door that leads out to what looks to be a sort of a catwalk that connects to that central pillar, and from what you can see, some of the stairs that go up the tree. And there's other chambers around that catwalk on this floor.
I wonder if they have a lot of cats on the catwalk. Do you have to be a cat to walk up there?
I'm not sure why they call it that.
There's Ryan. Your thoughts on the shop and the forge?
Aetherius is going to be keeping a mental note of it.
Fair enough. Ryan?
Ryan's busy contemplating why a catwalk is indeed called a catwalk.
Okay. So as you ponder that and you walk on the catwalk on the second floor, you see the stairs going up the central pillar, but you do see some doors leading to what appears to be some sort of public bathhouses. One appears to be open to basically both genders, so it's like anybody can just go into this one. The other bath area is separated into two smaller chambers. These appear to be separated by gender, so one's women only, one's men only. It looks like there's young elves, not like children, but kind of young adult elves, male and female, that are tending to persons in both the gender-specific bathhouses as well as the larger shared bath area. And they're wearing these just white kind of silk shorts and matching kind of shirts. And they're giving things like towels to people leaving and giving them, like drinks and, things that they need as they just kind of bathe. Also around here, you see these little hallways kind of cut into the tree itself. These little halls have several little doors on each side. Most of the doors appear to be they're all closed, but they're decorated with like these little plants, like these little vines that go over the doorways. Not sure what the purpose of these rooms are in these smaller hallways.
Aerie, for some weird reason, seems to skirt around those as far as she can.
No PSD there, a little trauma.
The tentacles will molest her 100% if she gets too close.
Well, one other area on the catwalk that you see, and you do recognize, is the second floor of the Tipsy Bee. This is where you first met your contact for the Fearless Landers. This is where you were at, sitting, waiting for your task, enjoying food and drink. So, if you do not want to go in there, do you proceed to go onto the third floor?
Aerie's heading in to report.
Okay. Anybody else?
Mordecai's going with her.
Aether's going along.
Oh.
Yeah, we're all going.
All right. Again, I'm just describing, and if anybody says like, "Hey, let's check this out real quick," Going up to the third floor, using the steps on the central pillar. One of them seems to be designated for people going upwards in the tree. The other seems to be going for downward traffic, so nobody kind of gets stuck on the stairwell. Now, as you go up to the third floor, let's see. From the catwalk, there's a few areas here. One of them, walking amid the catwalk, the first thing you notice is there's a small, kind of built-in store cut into the tree itself. There's a sign in common next to it saying the Codex. It's a neatly kind of rounded top door, but the door is closed and there's not really a view inside.
Codex. I only have code Y.
Oh boy.
I don't think that's what that is meaning.
Aerie is forcing a very watery smile at her terrible joke.
Well, as you contemplate that, if you just glance on over for the rest of the things on the third floor here, again, there's more of those hallways that have those smaller areas with the doors with the vines on them that Aries like staying away from. There is also the third floor of the Tipsy Bee, which you are also familiar with. This is where your singular bedrooms were located. And all throughout the stairwells here, through the catwalks, through some of these hallways, you also see more of those humanoids that are just kind of stuck in the wall. It's just kind of part of the wall. Another area that you do see here, this one is quite different contrast from the rest of them. While it is made out of wood, it's almost like the wood itself has been bleached white. It appears to be some sort of infirmary. It's not really filled with a lot of sick and injured at the moment. Most of the people in here, they have minor injuries. Some of them do have like little broken legs that they've kind of been splint up, or minor little cuts and burns, like they burn themselves on forging something or cooking something. You do see a pink tiefling woman in a white dress and matching hat and apron. She seems to be tending to some of the needs of the minor injured. And there is another being next to her. This one is a cream-skinned Asimar Mordecai. You kind of picked this up like right away. He's got golden glowing eyes, short blonde hair, and he seems to be the one that's diagnosing and directing the treatments of the patients.
It's not often I see an Ezra of my kind. Does he look busy?
Military people?
Ignoring the fact that the Aetherius is also an Azamar.
No, I'm a human.
Wait, you are?
Wait, I thought you were an Azamar.
Not until after I rolled all odd stats, I became a human.
Fair. All right, cool.
So it's just Ryan, like everybody, all non-Goliaths just look like Asimar to him.
And considering the fact that he's never met another Goliath, that's just everyone.
Are you all Azamar? You all seem important.
Well, you're all smaller than me.
So to answer your question, he looks busy enough, like not like running around, getting bombarded with, patients and injuries and crises, but he does look busy talking to the pink tiefling woman and kind of going over, like, he has this bits of paper just kind of showing her and marking things down and pointing to some of the other patients and just talking to her about. You don't know what he's talking to her about, but you guess that it's about could be, you know, the treatment of the patients, or maybe trying to teach her about, you know, what's going on with the patients, you know, trying to improve her ability to diagnose. But he does seem busy with her and what they're currently working with.
I won't bother him.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then continuing on to the 4th floor. This is the Fearless Lander's office is located here. Coming up from the catwalk, just looking kind of the outside here, there's a few things that immediately catch your eye besides the Fearless Lander's office. One is there's a space along the wall of the catwalk. Doesn't have any of the humanoids built into the wall. It's like a cleared area for a small booth that looks like it's just shut down right now. Posted on the outside of this small booth is a sign in common that says, "Coming soon, Gerbo's Death Emporium."
Oh dear.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Also from the catwalk, there's a large set of double doors that are reinforced with metal rivets and some sort of almost like velvet red padding. The arches of the doors have been made to look like a man and a woman that are dancing merrily together with their hands joined above the doors. There's a sign by the door that reads, "The Red Carpet Theater." And next to it, there's a stand showing various shows and their scheduled start times, none of which are like anytime soon. But outside of that, unless you want to go in there, that's all you see. And then, of course, there's the Fearless Landers offices, which right outside of their door, they have their sign, which depicts an image of a man, like an explorer, his back kind of facing the viewer, and it looks like he's overlooking this vista. And underneath this image of this man, it says, "The Fearless Lander."
That's our destination. Mordecai will walk up and knock on the door.
Duk, duk, duk. And you hear this a man's voice. "Come in! Come in!"
I open the door and walk in and hold it open for the rest of the group.
Aether will walk through.
Okay. Well, as you walk in the main room, there's a set of stairs leading upwards along the far wall from the entrance. The walls in this room are all adorned with banners from every kingdom of Tur. On your right side, though, immediately there's a door. Right next to this door, and it's open, is a large board with various bounties and job postings. A lot of them that you see there looks like they have little notes posted by them. Assigned, claimed, just like little various notes for each of the jobs posted. Behind the open door, where the voice came from, is a smaller office. There, you see a very familiar blonde half-elf who is chewing a clove of garlic. And also in this office is this halfling woman. She has a long scar across her face, and she's carrying a maul that's easily the size of her. They both seem to be kind of sifting through papers at their respective desks. On the wall opposite to them is a large set of double doors, which just kind of peering through it, you can see that it leads to some sort of a training room. There's various obstacle courses, ropes, ladders, training dummies. You can see just all placed all over this room.
Ooh. But what if I
Mordecai's-
wanted to? But if they're dummies, then that's kind of mean. They might be smart. You don't know that.
I don't think that's how that works.
So you see the half elf and the halfling just kind of busy working on paperwork at their desks. They don't look like they notice you at the door.
Mordecai approaches the half elf and stands at attention, then salutes.
He still doesn't notice you.
Aether is just gonna cough loudly, just.
And
Ryan's just gonna stand there awkwardly.
as he does sometimes. So, yeah, he just about to cough. He's just like, whoop, he kind of drops his papers that he was looking through and looks up. Oh, hello. It's so you've returned. Have you completed your assigned tasks, or are you coming here to let us know that you're unable to complete the task?
We have retrieved the artifact and have rescued a family of halflings.
And that piques the interest of the halfling woman that's at the other desk. Rescued halflings? And you were sent to artifact recovery? Stolen goods?
Help out a priestess lady.
There was a cultist. He has stolen the artifact and was holding one of the priestess's family hostage. We returned the artifact and have returned the family alive and not exactly unharmed.
And are the cultists in your custody? Have they been returned to the constable to face trial?
It was a situation that either we died or they did, and as we are still here, you can guess what happened.
Pity. We do like to see justice brought to them, but sometimes justice can only be found at the end of a sword. We will not hold that against you, but if what you're saying is true, then you have done a great amount of good. Norzen, send one of the scouts to confirm that the report here, and, well, if you wish to join the Fearless Landers after we verify your report, I see no reason why not to make you initiates. And Norzen just kind of stands up and is like, yes, Ziri. Right away. And it's nice seeing you. Glad you all made it. But if you excuse me, I have my own duties. And he just kind of brushes past you, seeing not wanting to make the halfling upset.
Was there, perhaps I misunderstood, but was there a reward?
Oh, for those seeking entrance into the Fearless Landers, um, there are no bounty rewards for the tasks, and this is mainly due to, well, not everybody's cut out for this sort of life. Some people don't quite make it, and, well, others aren't trustworthy enough for this. Sometimes we have to use that money to fix mistakes that those have tried that have made matters worse, or we have to use those to send our own people to fix the endeavors entirely. So with that, we don't pay out the first task, but I assure you that the others will have compensation, and if you prove that your actions are aligned with ours, it's much more than monetary compensation. And she just kind of, on that, like the maul that she has is standing on the handle part, and her hands just kind of gently touch the top of the maul, just like she earned that through something, just for doing something with the Landers, and it makes her very happy.
I see. Perhaps you can offer some information instead. There was a crier outside. Speaking of work, this is the military. Do you know anything about that?
I mean, the criers will usually spout news, gossip, and other opportunities. Depends on who's paying the crier. What did you hear?
I tell him about the captain and the jobs with pay.
The Azure God. Yes. They have their own agenda. It's not something that normally conflicts with our views or interests, but you never know. Those guards usually are backed by one of the merchant families, and I assure you that they want their own well-being. But they do protect the local folk and do try to keep things as pleasant, well, as pleasant as they can be here anyway. They're no fearless lander. We try to extend our protection and help far beyond the city, but make no mistake, there is plenty to be done within the walls of Aurora as well as outside.
If you were considering talking to them, would that be an issue?
No, I mean, you feel free to talk to whomever you'd like, but just remember, everybody has their own agenda. You can't make everybody happy all of the time. Be careful what jobs you take and from whom. You might make enemies, or you might find yourselves without an employer.
As you probably know, I am from the military. Seeing as this has to do with the Azure God, you can likely see why I am interested in it.
And she kind of, kind of stiffens up a bit, and I could tell you were former military just by the look of you. Where are you stationed at? Who's your commander?
Oh God, did I even write that down? I don't remember.
You did. It's okay. So you didn't expect all this backstory stuff to come back and get put right back in your face?
I'm so not good with names.
Well, one of the ones that you gave was Kushil.
No, that's my spiritual guide.
Okay. So remember that was one of yours. Let's see.
I don't think I gave a name.
Says your parents. Um, there's that. No, I'm just seeing your family's name and Kushil's. So, yeah, I mean, you can describe your commander and your military outfit if you like.
My commander was Commander uh, Bickrest. I did not serve with my contingent long. I was given a squad and a mission. It did not turn out very well. Um, the mission was a success, but there were losses, any kind of winces. Um, I still hold the rank of sergeant, and I've been sent here to kind of help out as an emissary.
And she kind of chuckles. Royal military, huh? Ah, I served with them for a good bit. How is Ashbeard doing? And she's talking about your commander with that.
He's well. He's well. He's he was in the meeting where I was given this task. I'm glad to be here, though.
Well, you're not the only one that has lost people. See this? And she points to the scar. I got this during my time with the Royal Military, clearing out a troll fort. Little do we know that one of them was quite capable with magic. But fun times. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
For me, it was a necromancer. I'm sorry, I have to be right back. Someone's hammering my phone.
All right. So as they're kind of talking here, Norzen returns, and he just kind of nods that the job was done to her, that he's sent the people a report. Addressing the rest of you while they have their conversation. Well, while we verify your accounts and your overall performance, feel free to stay here in Aurora. I would recommend staying particularly close to the Nymph's Rest so that, well, we know where we can find you and contact you with our decision. So basically, he's giving you the opportunity to have your downtime. And the best part of this is you all will be level 2.